My name is Jennifer. I work for XCA. I'm the marketing manager here. Now, today I'm not going to share a lot about my experience with you, but I'm going to share a little bit of what are the real life experiences and also encounters that you will be facing most of the times when you are talking to someone or you are pitching your games or anything to anyone. Now, I used to be a very talkative kid, and I am still a talkative person, but it's when I want to. Now, as we progress, you know that from a very talkative person can be a very inward person as they getting older. There is a reason why of it. So I'm going to tell you later on in the mid of the talk of why is this going to be like that. Why towards the year of our early days, throughout our dying days, and in between our active years, what happened and what transpired. Oops, sorry. Throughout the years of me working, I've learned one thing that is most important, and I call it rule number one. The rule number one in your career. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. The very first encounter with a person, let's say you see me today, which part of the body that you see first? My face? Sorry? My attire, my clothing? Now, very much of us would think that the very first thing you encounter that you see is actually your face, your eyes, your lips, your clothes. But what if I tell you the first thing you see when you see a person is actually their hand? Now, those are caveman years. This is almost a life skill for cavemen. When you enter a territory that doesn't belong to the caveman, they will have to be looking at your hands, whether you're holding a sword or whether you're holding a stone. It's a safety features that we have on our own, and also to the community. So the first thing we always see as a person that you don't actually realize is their hand. Now, as my hand is at the back right now, you'll be always wondering, what is her hand doing at the back? Why is it at the back? What is she trying to hide? So you have negative features in you that you want to tell the person that, oh no, what is the intention? Your brain will be screaming, hell, get the hand out behind of you. Because that is rule number one. It's always the hand. This is not what I said, it's a study says. Even in the pitching, we use about 427 gestures of our hands when we talk. At least for a normal person who never have an encounter in a lot of pitchings or talking in front of people, on a daily basis, you're still at least using 60 about hand gesture when you're talking. Now imagine you walk into someone and you're like, you won't be reacting to me because I wasn't open enough. But if I walk into a room and I was like, hi, I'm Jennifer. May I know your name? So you have a more open feature. Now that's very important because even as I walk in, I was like, hey. I have to do something so that you remember me and you have open enough to be sharing your today positivity with me. Now that's rule number one. And this rule number one, I call it sorry, I'm Jennifer. You are contagious. I'm not even talking about your hand, okay? It is you. Okay. It is you that is contagious. Now, if I'm going to start this all over again, today, I'm going to give you a very big idea. Is this very big, Jennifer? This is very, very small. What do you mean by big? But with eyesight, it's actually 12.5 times bigger when a speaker tells you this is big. So say you're trying to tell, I have a great game that is big in vision. If you start, today I'm going to share with you a very big vision game. And I'm going to give you it in three simple rules. or break down. So today I'm going to share with you the 3 simple basic rules. Number 1 is you are contagious. So whatever you present today, it will manifest by the next person that you are talking to. Now, I won't come to rule number 2 saying that over the years, rule number 2 became very prominent in life, not just on interview, but also when you're creating speeches to people. I really love to share this story because it was 17 years ago. 17 years ago, I walked into Shangri-La Hotel for an open interview. I have no idea who the employer was, and I have no idea what I got myself into. I was pretty young. My first job was in Citibank as a credit card sales. You probably think, credit card sales, yes. I worked for it for 3 years while I was in school. I hopped onto a plane. I landed in Hanoi, Vietnam, the next 1 week. And this is what I saw. The moment I got out from the airport, I landed there, I got out from, this is exactly what I saw, a live pig on a motorcycle. I've never seen any livestock, but this is my actual pictures that I took behind a car. I have no idea what I gotten myself into. But I left the country since then. I never returned for 18 years. But these 18 years made me realize one thing that is very, very important. I created my first portfolio in campaigning a product that has been sold in Southeast Asia for the next 13 years. But I was never a product manager. I wrote countless of headlines, copywriting, scripting for commercials. Now you call it captions. But I was never a writer. For the last 17 years, I graduated as a lawyer. But I'm never a lawyer or never a judge. I was a pure disgrace to an Asian family. Like it or not, I'm from a very traditional family brought up, and I was there. Now, what happened in the next 17 years is that I always tell myself one thing that's very important when we are looking forward for a career, not just because you want to talk to an interviewer. Always expect the unexpected. But then the unexpected is you always have to tell your abilities, your uniqueness, your abilities of being able to convey, not just because your portfolio is great. Sometimes your resume and your cover letter will not tell everything about you. What you need to tell is more important than what is that you are so proud of yourself within the next few years that you want to create. So I wasn't a gamer. No, neither was I a writer. I was never a lawyer either. So what am I now? I don't know. But I came to a world of realizations that I love one thing in life. I love business. I went through countless of pitchings, countless with board of directors. I failed probably about 20 businesses that were worth millions of dollars in the business investment banking. But look, I'm still very happy because rule number 3 is what makes me realize that when it comes to an interview or a job creation or creating a business, rule number 2 is what will bring you to rule number 3. Now, remember, I came here as a business investment banking, but I'm going to share a little story how I got this job. I got a call from a recruiter. A recruiter told me that I have a very interesting job for you, but I'm not too sure if you're a great fit. That was the exact line. I went into a job, the HR told me, do you know this job is very hard? Guess what my reply was? The reason why this job is hard, it's because of you. I got the job. I've been there for 9 years. I built countless portfolio with the investment banking group. Rule number 3 is to allow you to understand that sometimes, at great times like this, sometimes your hunch is always the correct one. Never disregard them. There are many recruiters, there are many people that are still using a very traditional ways to look at your resume. But your role is to go beyond your resume to tell where your capabilities and your unique abilities are. And that will make your recruiter be able to put you through the second interview or the final interview. Sometimes it's always a win-win. My current HR told me it is not you only to test your employer. It is also the employer to being able to feel that they must be safe with you. So it's a win-win. It was never one way. So rule number 2, there is a name for it. Always expect the unexpected. Now, what is the final rules that I want to share with you today? Chances are, have you looked in the mirror this morning? Brushing your teeth, combing your hair, makeup. I forgot to put on my eyebrow this morning and nobody told me I look sick. So I have to put on my eyebrow. Now the chances is you at least have one time looking at the mirror on your own. Is that the reflection that you always see yourself as? Do you truly believe that the person in front of the mirror is actually yourself? Or are you looking at the mirror, hoping that the perception that you get today from the person that you're looking at the mirror is a recognition from the person that will be seeing you today? That's a question to ponder. Is my belief to trust that my hunch to tell the recruiter I wasn't the difficulties in the job? Because the one thing that is very important that I realized from that conversation onwards, being an individual, it's very important. What we see in the mirror is what you want others to perceive, to believe that the person that they're seeing is what you want to believe. Because you are competing. You're not competing for yourself. You're competing with the next person that you think it as a competition. Today, if I'm going to tell you that the only one person that you need to compete with, it's actually you yesterday. When there are no one else in the competition, there's only one drive that you will find, that is becoming a better you of yesterday. If every interview and rejections and successful interview that you have gone through, or any Peaches business advancement that you have, is to you becoming a better you of yesterday, that will, I can guarantee you, tomorrow you will move faster than you are today. Because there's no one else in this world. In this world, you matter. The very person that matters is actually you. And why do you want to change being you to someone else and competing with people who has nothing to do with your life? That's rule number 3. Rule number 3 is to always trust yourself. Your ability, you knew it. You have to manifest it to the recruiter, to anyone that you talk to. That is important. Because if you don't tell the recruiter that this is what you're good at, this is me being me, and I know I'm good at, the recruiters are perceiving you, the very you that you want me to acknowledge and to agree with you. Why would someone agree with someone that are not them? So the rule number 3, the last and very last rule. Superior. So the 3 person that you're looking at when you look at the mirror. You see yourself being superior? 1. So when you're feeling superior, you're very important in this room. You are the only one person that's very important in this room. 2nd, inferior. I don't need to explain more, right? Once you're very important, suddenly you are not. But what if I tell you there's another world that you want to live in when this is you competing with your own? Well, it's a word that I made of. It's called internal. There are no words to represent that because the dictionary doesn't tell us any other words to represent ourselves in that manner. They only call you superior and they call you inferior, but they never call you being you. So I have to make up a word called internal. Now, internal is where you want to be because remember there's only one person and you are not comparable. You only compare you of a yesterday you. Now, so if you can do it, You will be richer, not too sure about wealth, but you definitely be happier. And the third thing is, you will never have to think, to be worried about what other people perceive and think of you. And that's when you really, really tell a recruiter, yes, the only person that makes this job difficult is you. Thank you. Oh yeah, so the last rule number 3 is called be there. So there's nowhere else for you to be. So it's just there. No question, huh? No question, huh? No, you may ask question if you have any.
Does anyone have any questions? Yes, no? I actually have one. Hearing your entire presentation, I feel like you were calling out all the bad sides of me, like all my bad habits and everything.
That wasn't my intention. I'm very sorry.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it was a very self-reflectory session. I'll give you that. So, does anyone have any? Oh, okay, we have someone.
Yeah, I said no question. Also got question.
The mic is quite loud. I'm very sensitive.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
So you said that like we shouldn't compare ourselves with others and should only look internally. Oh, I should speak closer to the mic. Okay. And then so I was like thinking, because I've gone through this a similar thought process before, like wondering who I am and not to think about the outside world. So do you have any tips to like truly understand who you are as a person?
When was the last time you felt really amazing of yourself? Being the most amazing you as a person? Anyone? I can remind you of that. The one time that you felt really amazing being yourself is when you're young. When you're a boy, a baby girl. Would you have the complexity of telling yourself of what kind of color of clothes should I be wearing? Should I be wearing this shoe? Should I be wearing that shoe? Have you ever been really shy of being naked in front of your parents? No. That was the time that kids, when you're a young baby, you're a young girl, you're honest, you're happy. When you're curious, you ask questions. You do everything as you go because there isn't anything else for you to look after for it. Now, but then we take into account, let's do a reflection of the end. Now, we always call the older generation eccentric. Do you realize that? Wow, so truthful one. Wow, the word hurts. So it's kind of normal because as we younger, we are more truthful to ourselves. As we get older, the same thing. It's like a mirror effect. As you're young, you're more truthful. You encourage yourself to no longer follow anyone else but yourself. But at the age of where you and I can relate right now, it's when we learn to adapt. We learn a lot too. I compromise. That's when unhappiness comes in. I cannot tell you that in this phase that you're going to have the best life ever because you will only have to compare yourself with yesterday. It won't be easy. But you have to take into consideration in this one. If every word hurts you, everything else will hurt you. So if you don't want words to hurt you, you first have to remember how to use words because words can be poisonous and they can be very, very sharp. Spoken words are never able to take it back. So if you can learn one thing to phrase it carefully, you will understand that actually those people are not meant to hurt you. They have just an understanding to try to compromise because they have no idea how to be amazing one small word. Like they're a kid, now you have to wait for them to get old. That's why in the journey of our life, we lose friends and we make new friends. That's because we are all compromising at this age. As you get older, when you see me, I'll say no. And when I say no question, I say no. That's when we call people eccentric. But actually, they are just being very true to themselves. So when I see your grandmother again, then you know that why they are being like this. They're just being true to themselves. They say, no, 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 no. They're just being kids. If I'm not hungry, I want to play, I say I want to play. So I hope that this time of your life, you will have to navigate. I can't guarantee you anything, but if you make words less poisonous, your life will be very much happier.
She said no questions, but
Yes, concussion lah.
no. Does anyone have anything to add? I don't know. I feel very personally attacked by her answers. Okay, no? Actually, no questions? Everyone's scared of her, is it? No, Huh? Do you have one? Sounds like you have a question. Okay, opinion. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Should I start a different career path? Thank you so much for being here today. You know, Xsolla Curine Academy have been really grateful to have all of you here today. I hope I've shared some good experience. I hope you bring that with you. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Can we give a quick round of applause, guys? That was an amazing speech by Jennifer.